I'm going to say it here. I'm going to say it live. You were better than Kylie.
Honestly, any member of the England football team could walk into this room right now and I'd be like, not a clue. No idea. I am a huge Doctor Who fan. I didn't know you sang the theme tune as well. So before we start, I must warn you that at the end of every episode, we do a scene.
Okay.
And there is no preparation for that. Producer Poppy and Baby J will choose based on something that we've spoken about.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It's a sight reading exercise,
Yeah.
but
I'm smiling, but there is terror behind my eyes.
Understandable. Thank you for joining me today.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you for asking.
No, I mean, the pleasure is all mine. I have to start with like the obvious thing, the thing that is a passion of mine, the thing that a lot of people watching and listening at home will want to discuss, and that is Tracy Beaker.
Yes, Tracy Beaker. Yeah, an incredible part of my life. Yes.
Honestly, iconic, an incredible part of a lot of our lives.
I know.
In fact.
I'm always astounded by the amount of people of all generations that still come up to me and say, I used to watch Tracy Beaker, and then follow it with some incredible comment. I don't want to say it myself because it seems very arrogant to say it, but I am always moved by how it has affected people in their lives. Yeah.
I think it's really important, and it's for a lot of sort of different reasons. I mean, we had Danny Harmer on the podcast a while ago. And so many of the people who watched and listened to that episode just still to this day obsessed with Tracy Beaker. But I think it wasn't just sort of your average children's story.
No, it wasn't. It was and it's one of those things that when you're in it and doing it, I mean, I literally don't want to detract from it, but it's a job. As an actor, it's a job. You don't know what a piece of work that you're doing is going to become. You have absolutely no idea. But it was extraordinary. It was extraordinary to do. And Danny was amazing. She was amazing. I think she must have been, well, you probably know from the last podcast, but she must have been like 11 or 12 or something like that when we first got together to do the show. And she was so on it and so professional and obviously brilliant, and the show itself, as you said, it covers not just of its time, but even today, it covers the idea that there are children out there that don't have, and that struggle for family and even in a sense community. And I suppose in many ways, it reached out to a lot of the children who were watching it, who were in similar positions or felt the same things as the kids within the show.
Yeah, of course. And even separately from that, gosh, we've gone deep straight off the back. No, of course. But even separately from that, I think the sort of representation within that and within the kids who were in the dumping ground, there was a lot of like diversity and inclusion.
Yes, there really
and like
was.
Everyone was sort of welcome to be part of the gang, which is such an important thing.
Absolutely. And well ahead of its time.
For sure. Do you have fond memories of working on it?
I have, wonderful memories. Not specific particular memories, but I just remember it being a great time. There was a little downside to it because as the kids have to work at specific hours, you as an adult, you'd be called in the morning at 7 and you would sit around all day and then you'd do the end of the day as well. So that was the worst thing about it. The rest was absolutely fantastic. No, it was a great experience, and as you say, there was a massive amount of diversity within the company. All the kids, I just don't like using the word kids, all the young actors were superb and came to work ready to work. There was nobody that kicked off, and at that age it would be very easy for them to be tired or, upset or not want to work. And they were doing what you would call homeschooling around the filming as well. So they were leaving set, going to school, coming back to set to work, and they were just brilliant. They were just absolutely brilliant. And the storylines were fantastic. And I was very lucky that my character, Duke, didn't comment. He never said, you are this is this, you must do that. He just went, come here, let's have some cake, let's have some food, it's all going to be all right. He didn't have statements, he didn't make judgments. And I think that's why, well, you can tell me as a watcher, I think that's why he was so highly regarded, because he was just a lovable character and ended up with a lot of gunk and feathers and falling off things as well.
Yeah, just so much warmth and just like a welcoming energy, which I think as a young person, you want to see that from like adult characters.
Absolutely. I mean, and not wanting to get too dark again, but one of the amazing things that was said to me, which I think is quite right to say, for that time, and it wasn't me. It was I as an actor performed the role, but it was a positive role model of color.
Yeah.
He wasn't a thief or a mugger or a murderer do you know what I mean? And a lot of the a lot of the images of colour at that time were, I would say, I am using a massive brush, were slightly more negative than positive.
For sure. I think especially like as a young boy growing up in Essex, I didn't really see that many people of colour on screen. And like as much as it sounds quite intense, I think sort of CBBC was one of the few places where you could see you and people like Angelica Bell like hosting and things, and having that sort of like positive representation.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely.
So thank you for that.
Oh, it literally was a pleasure, and still is.
Yeah, of course. I mean, people must sort of like recognize you for that quite a lot still.
Absolutely, yeah. Yes, literally last night I was at the Chesham Fringe Festival. Yes, there is a Fringe Festival in Chesham. And a young gentleman came up to me and literally took his phone out, took a picture of me and went, Tracy Beaker, patted him on his shoulder, loved it, and walked off. It was just, it's incredible. It's incredible.
Well, that's what he should have asked you to take the photo first.
It would have been, I did. We did speak about that afterwards, but some people just get too excited. And also the idea that if you're in somebody's living room 7 days a week, 4 years, you become owned by them. They think they know you. They think, I've done it myself. I meet people that I've watched on TV and gone, oh, how? And then realised that I don't know them. I have no connection to them at all. But if with Tracy Beaker, because it took over from Grange Hill, and it's on constantly and still is on constantly in CBBCs. And I think, well, I know that people, they claim you. They claim you as part of them without and making any kind of judgment about it, without making any kind of statement. You become in some way theirs, and they build a relationship with you, not in a kind of a spooky way, but just in a way of, I've seen this person every day, all day. I come back to see this show and this person is in it, and now they're sat in the pub. And they just express that kind of enjoyment. It comes out in one kind of huge bubble, which is just amazing. It's incredible. And I'm just an actor. I'm just hopefully a good one, but I'm just an actor.
Are there any like difficulties in that, sort of like having people have that automatic association?
Not for me. There are people that scream and shout, and there are people that demand, and there are people that can be, without knowing, quite rude. But that is far outweighed by completely the opposite. The people who are incredibly respectful and loving and say extraordinary things about what you've done, especially in that show. So yes, there are times when it's not comfortable, but you can never, for myself. And I know there are actors out there, we all hear stories of actors kicking off when people intrude, because it's not paparazzi. Yeah. It's not like there's thousands of people sticking cameras in my face. It's just it's that explosion of, oh my goodness, like this person, it can't be. And that's normally the first thing. And you go, I know exactly what's coming. And I've got to a point now, because one of my favorite things is that when people go, do I know you from something? I go, well, how would I know if you know me from something? Because I've been in situations before, at least 3 or 4 times, when I've gone, is it Tracy Beaker? They go, no, it's not Tracy Beaker. Is it Mr. Salford from da-da-da? No, it's not Mr. Salford from da-da. So I get to a point now where I just go, it could be. What? And then they go, are you on TV? And then I go, yes, I'm on TV and da-da-da. And I carry on that dialogue with them. And it's my own little bit of, I suppose, strange pleasure to keep them on their toes for as long as possible.
Yeah, just keep them guessing.
Keep them guessing. Are you famous? Well, when people say, are you famous? You go, well, if you don't know if I'm famous or not, I'm obviously not famous. Because if I'm famous, you would know I'm famous. Does that make any kind of strange sense?
That's interesting. I get, like, in that sort of like way that it's relative to each individual.
Absolutely.
Which is very true to me. Like, honestly, any member of the England football team could walk into this room right now and I'd be like, not a clue. No idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Living my life. There are actually so many sort of roles and shows that you've done and appeared in. And for me, regular listeners of the podcast and viewers of the podcast, as you well know, I am a huge Doctor Who fan.
Ah.
I didn't know you sang the theme tune as well. That's wild to hear it live. No, but you appeared in Doctor Who.
I did, yeah.
Quite iconically in an iconic episode.
Absolutely. Voyage of the Damned.
Yes.
Yeah.
With Miss Kylie Minogue.
With the Kylie Minogue. I'm so excited, I can't hardly say her name. Yeah, with the Kylie Minogue. And she was beautiful. And I don't mean physically. She was, because we know she's physically beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Her spirit, her attitude. You know, for no disrespect to Doctor Who, for who she was and for what she was playing and who she was among, she was just a girl, just anybody like anybody else on set with 4 bodyguards. But she was wonderful, a wonderful performance, and just a beautiful spirit, a very kind of giving and open spirit. I do have a small story about Kylie.
Please tell the story.
Yeah, I think it was so long ago. I don't know if she even would do it now, but we had a day off set, an afternoon off set, and she just said, "Let's go to the cinema. Let's go to the cinema." So yeah, great. So she had 2 female bodyguards, and she put on a baseball cap and a little jacket. And there were about 3 or 4 of us. So there was about 6 of us in all that went to the local cinema in Wales. Mm-hmm. And we went down, we sat down, and Kylie was sat next to me there, and that was kind of the middle. The middle aisle was kind of to my left. And just before the film started, 2 people came over, and in the row in front of us, and came over and went, "Are you Clive Rowe from Tracy Beaker?" And I went, yes. Inside my head, I was going, yes, but that's Kylie. Kylie is next to me. Kylie is next to me. Oh, we thought you were wonderful. Thank you, Tracy Beaker. And they left, and it was like, it's so, like you were saying about how people, if they out of the normal environment, you know, if it had been a pop concert and Kylie had been there in all her gear, they would have gone straight past me and gone straight to Kylie. But because they saw me and knew who I was the most kind of important thing in that moment. And you can never impose your views on people and audiences. You can only just welcome how they respect you and love you. But I did want to jump up and say, "This is Kylie Minogue right next to me, the goddess Kylie Minogue." But I didn't. I just took the acclaim.
As you should, as is your right to do. I mean, aside from the Kylie of it all, sort of working on that particular episode of Doctor Who as well is absolutely mad, absolutely wild. How was it like being on that set?
It was fantastic. It was an amazing company. I've been very lucky in most of the work that I've done. The majority of the work that I've done, I've been in with incredible companies. And one of my kind of shields is that I don't really take on board the enormity of things. So I didn't really. I love Doctor Who. I'd watched it all as a young man going through it, because it's been going as long as I have been going. But I didn't really understand that I was in a Christmas episode. I didn't realise I was going to be in something that could be, again, iconic.
Yeah.
So I kind of just turned up for work, which is kind of the best way. I didn't get overexcited about what the piece was. And it was just great script. I love the Poseidon Adventure, which it's based on. That wonderful scene. And my scene, even though it had nothing to do with water, is when that lady goes underneath she leaves her husband and goes, "I'm going to swim, I'm going to make," and she passes under the water. Sorry.
It's quite emotional. No, it's an emotional episode as a whole.
Yeah.
But it is an iconic episode. It's one of the sort of, can I make this unilateral decision? It might be the best Christmas episode of Doctor Who in the modern era. I don't know.
It's not for me to say, but I agree.
Yeah, well, because it's true. It's a fact. You said you've been a big fan of Doctor Who. Do you have like a particular favourite Doctor?
I'm going to say David Tennant, but there's the young guy, but I can never remember his name. Matt Smith, I think it might have been Matt Smith. I thought he was extraordinary. David is brilliant, and the one with the scarf and K9 is
Tom Baker.
Tom Baker,
that's the one.
Amazing. So there's lots of them really that I like. I like the fact that it changes, and I'm not up to date with the modern day one. So but I know that the gentleman who's doing it is a fantastic actor. I just haven't watched any of them, so I would be lying to say I think he's my best Doctor, because I haven't seen him perform it.
Oh, well, you must. Ncuti Gatwa as the Doctor. Iconic.
I know. And I will. In time, I absolutely will.
Well, you've come to the right place, because we've actually got every episode of Ncuti's Era here for you to enjoy. I would gladly sit and watch that with you at any time. No, it is. It's gorgeous. It's like an incredibly long-running series. Obviously, I think it's the longest-running sci-fi series in the world.
I didn't know that.
I believe. So to be part of that legacy that's pretty.
It's incredible. Iconic. It's incredible. I will never take it for granted. I've been very lucky. The things that I've done, especially on TV, have been just wonderfully received. You know, Tracy Beaker, Doctor Who, So Awkward, just really wonderfully received pieces of TV. So.
Do you have a favourite on-screen role, or can you not pick between them like they are your children?
No, I don't particularly have a favourite. I mean, I did do an episode of Midsummer Murders.
Stop.
But, yeah, I did it, and I loved that. It's I did enjoy that as a character, and B, because I love the idea of a village that nobody moves out of where everybody dies. It's just because I'd be gone after maybe number 3 or 4. I would leave.
No, that's very valid. I wouldn't have moved there in the first place.
No, exactly.
I find it interesting because obviously the way that you speak about the work that you do is sort of like without maybe necessarily like embracing the scale of it. Like for me, I'm like, wow, you're in Doctor Who. That's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. But like for you, it's like you've done the job. Like it was wonderful. Kylie Minogue, lovely girl.
Yeah.
Like is that sort of like professional energy? Do you, within that sort of like professionalism, do you have things that you're like, okay, well, this is something that I want to do. That's the dream role or like anything?
I've been very, very lucky. I mean, I would love at some point, but I think I'm getting too old to play Sweeney and Sweeney Todd. I'd love to have done Judas in Jesus Christ Superstar.
Ooh.
But I have done such amazing work. It's not as if, first of all, I didn't realise I was going to become a professional actor. So that was amazing.
What did you think you were going to do?
I was going to work in Tesco's or a factory or, you know, maybe work backstage in a theatre. But I didn't think I was going to become a professional actor at all.
How did it come about then?
Basically, I failed my exams. My mother wanted me to do, when I was 14, my mother wanted me to do physics, geography, technical drawing and art. And I wanted to do art, woodwork, metalwork, and it was all hands-on stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not cerebral in that way at all. But I obviously wanted to please my mum. My mother was an incredible woman. It's not against her that I say that. It's just, I'd had 2 brothers that were incredible brains, and she saw that intellect was the way to advance yourself. That's what she saw, and that's what she wanted for me. So I tried for 4 years to become that intellect, but I just didn't have it in me.
Yeah.
And while I was at the Oldham College, I was very lucky. Part of the college's Grange Arts Centre, and Grange Arts Centre was doing an A-level art actors course. And there were people on it like Jane Horrocks, Sarah Lancashire, Tony Marshall, people that I used to sit and have coffee with.
Yeah.
And they let me go in every day and just sit and have coffee. They even set up for 1 year to try and get me to get my A-level so I could get on the course. But I failed it because it was, again, I'm not an intellect. I'm still not. I mean, even when I play Trivial Pursuits, I ask the questions. I don't play the game because I can't. There's no point. So what happened was I failed my exams for 3 years. At the age of 17, I said to myself, if I've not got my exams by the age of 19, I'll apply to drama school because I was in amateur theatre and everybody was saying, go to drama school. And I was like, why would I go to drama school? You know, I'm going to end up in a factory. I'm going to end up at Tesco's. I'm going to be an electrician. Why do I want to go to drama school? And I was loving amateur theatre. I just thought I would, you know, I'd finish work on Thursday, get my pay packet, go to the pub on Friday, do a show at the weekends and rehearse during the evenings. So that's what I thought that was going to be the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And when I got to 19, I failed all my exams again. And I went, well, I might as well apply to drama school because then I've got 3 years to decide what proper job I'm going to do when I go home. And then I'll just go back into amateur theatre. And in my second year at drama school, I was lucky. I got into Guildhall. They accepted me at my first try. And then in my second year, there were 2 musicals of colour. There was Carmen Jones and Porgy and Bess. Trevor Nunn was directing Porgy and Bess, and Carmen Jones was Stephen Pimlott and Jeremy Sands at Sheffield. I did the audition for Porgy and Bess, but the tutors at drama school said we have a policy not to let you work, but I think the experience, because it's very rare in the 80s that there were 2 massive musicals of colour.
Yeah.
And so they let me audition. I walked out of the audition for Porgy and Bess and Stephen Pimlott and Jeremy Sams were sat in that audition, and they came out, they ran out after me and said, look, if you don't get this, we'd love you to come down to Sheffield. I didn't get Porgy and Bess, and I went down to Sheffield in my second year because they just said, yes, you can go, because it's rare. These shows may not come around again 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Obviously now we have lots of shows of colour, but at that time it was incredibly, incredibly rare. And again, I was still in that naive stage of like, oh yeah, I'll go and do it. And it wasn't literally. I know this sounds like a movie, but on the first Thursday of rehearsals, I got a small brown manila envelope with that little see-through pane with my name in it, and I opened it up, and it said, your earnings are da amount. It wasn't a lot of money. It was a lot of money to me, but it was like a thunderbolt. It was like, and I went, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. I'm going to be a professional actor for the rest of my life. It's going to pay my bills. It's going to feed me, and I'm going to love it. And that was the moment. Up until that point, I honestly, even at drama school, I was like, I'm going to go home. But when I got that wage packet, it suddenly made sense that I could actually make money from it.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah. That should be a movie. We should actually make that happen. It's interesting because obviously for me, I know you from a lot of your TV roles, but when you were talking about sort of dream roles and how you started, it was all on stage. Is that like the passion where you sort of...
It's what I know. It's my muscle. It's something that I do. Theatre is something that I love. Would that be the best way to describe it? I do enjoy TV, but I love theatre. I love singing, and I love comedy, and I love being on stage. You know, and if you can combine those three things together with the Addams Family,
that's called a segue. Nice.
That's where I'm at my happiest. Yeah.
Well, as you said, you're currently in the Addams Family, and that's like the perfect combination of all the things.
Those three things.
Yeah,
definitely.
Is that a fun role for you?
Well, Festa, yes. I mean, off the page, obviously, I don't know. We haven't started rehearsing yet. It's another 4 weeks before we start rehearsing. But it looks like it's going to be fun. I know it's been done by other people before, but I think Matthew, I know Matthew, and I think he will allow me to breathe in the part. That's the most important thing for me. I love to create. I don't mind following a gentle pattern. I went into Prince of Egypt, and obviously that had been going for a long time. And for me to come in and go, and I'm going to do cartwheels across the back as I come on stage, I'm not going to do that. But they allowed me to breathe. They allowed me to bring myself to the role. And I'm hoping that Matthew will do the same.
Well, it's quite exciting.
Yeah, it's really
because
exciting.
I think that's the thing about theatre, especially musical theatre as well. You have that live audience in front of you, so it's almost like it's a new beast, like every evening. Every evening, yes. I mean, I'm sure you wouldn't really understand that premise. You're performing to the people that are there. It's visceral. Yeah.
And because of that, I always said that I don't know if I should say this because it can be taken the wrong way, and I don't mean it in a condescending way at all. But if you treat an audience like a pet, if you love it and care for it and caress it and feed it, it responds to you as a pet will. As the whole audience will respond to you. But if you stop them from clapping or stop them from laughing or move through something too quickly or not aware of what they're picking up on, you can kind of lose an audience during a performance of an evening.
Yeah, so that's an interesting way of looking at it, actually.
So I don't mean it as like, they're pets. It's just that idea of it is a living, breathing organism. It's one thing, not 700 or 1,000 different things. It's one thing.
Yeah, and it's one thing that you have a direct relationship with to look after.
Yeah.
No, that makes total sense. I think like whenever I've done sort of live shows and performances, my worst shows have always been when I've been having the worst time. So when you're sort of like impacted by something external, this is why you're not supposed to bring it on stage with you. But sometimes you can't avoid that.
You can't.
Yeah. And that's always been, it's like the audience like recognizes that somehow, which is very difficult to sort of set aside. I don't know do you have any sort of advice to sort of like put that to one side? Well,
I mean, on a very brutal level, you're not paid to bring your stuff on stage. And that's on a very kind of cutthroat. The audience don't pay to see your problems.
Yeah.
They might pay to see you being angst if they're coming to see Leah, but they don't want to see I've not paid my bills, or there's problems with my partner, or do you know what I mean? I stood in dog poo today. They're not interested.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's that the important thing is to remember it's a gift to be able to shed it, to be able to go, that is there, and now I'm going to give my performance. Because if you get immersed in a role enough, you have to in some ways leave the outside behind, because if you don't immerse yourself in it, you can't fulfill it.
Yeah.
You know, if that makes any sense at all. So you kind of have to, or at least shut the door on it, put it in a little room and just close the door and go, this is what I'm going to do. And I suppose for me, because a lot of the stuff I do is comedy, it's easier to do it that way. But, you know, there's that old tradition that a lot of comedians have quite dark lives, you know. I don't particularly. I've been gifted. I literally got up this morning and said, thank you, universe. I'm a great believer in the universe might not care, but it can throw you the curveball occasionally. And I've been extraordinarily lucky in the people I've met and the work that I've done. So,
do you feel like that's something that, as you said with the universe, is that something you've manifested throughout your career?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Because manifested is such a powerful word. It brings on the idea that I've made it happen. I would say, and I've said this recently in another interview, that show business is not a charity. There is an incredible amount of luck to it.
Yeah.
Being in the right place, in the right room, with the right people on the right piece, that is an incredible amount of luck. But the thing itself, show business is not a charity. They give to charity, obviously. They're very generous, but they pay you to do something well. And if you can't do it well, they won't pay you.
Yeah. So
you have to be good. You have to be good at what you do, or good enough for people to appreciate your work. I suppose I manifest in the sense of, as we say, you're only as good as your last job.
Yeah.
So I try and make my last job as good as it could possibly be. And if that is in that sense, yes, I do manifest it, because I have to be good to carry on working. But I don't manifest it. If that makes sense.
No, that does make sense. Yeah. Honestly, I feel like I've just attended a masterclass. Oh. Like this is why I've just sort of sat absorbing this information. Again, I can't lie. My one thing that I manifest, or I'm trying to manifest in my life, is just to appear in an episode of Doctor Who. So I've been listening very attentively, being like,
put it out there.
Only as good as your last job. Okay, noted down. Tick, tick, tick.
Put it out there.
That is very true. I guess it's like a domino effect, kind of. Like you have to push that first domino, which in your case was taking that leap of going to drama school, and just hope that they all continue to ripple based on your hard work.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
I love that. When does the Addams Family open?
It opens on the 10th of July, I think it is, in Birmingham, at the Birmingham Hippodrome. I'm saying it like this because my publicity lady is sat over to the left, so she's nodding. Yeah, it's Birmingham. It's doing 3 nights, 4 nights at Birmingham. Then it goes to Leicester's Curve for, I think, about 4 weeks. And then it's doing Canterbury, Birmingham, Canterbury, Manchester and Blackpool.
Oh, okay. All around the towns and everything.
All around the towns. all the number one venues in those places. So.
Yeah, no, wonderful. Before you go, we have a tradition on the podcast, which is that we get everyone who appears to do a scene, and it's always very silly. Producer Poppy, please could you reveal what scene you have chosen for us? It's usually relevant to something we've discussed.
We're doing your episode from Doctor Who, but Kylie and the Doctor.
Oh, so one of us is Kylie and one of us is the Doctor. Okay, interesting.
Oh my goodness.
Now the question, I know that I am currently wearing a blonde wig, but let's not let our appearances make decisions for us. Would you rather be the Doctor, or would you rather be Kylie Minogue's character Astrid?
It is your podcast. You decide.
Oh, no, but you have come as a guest into my home.
I do not mind. I know that you want to be in Doctor Who, so you can choose.
I am blonde, so I should probably be Astrid, Kylie Minogue. Right. So you would be David Tennant's Doctor. Okay, whenever you're ready. And scene.
Get yourself up to reception 1. Once you're there, Mr. Cooper, you've got staff access to the computer. Try to find a way of transmitting an SOS. Astrid, you're in charge of this. The EMP transmitter. Once it's powered, it'll take out a host within 50 yards, but then it needs 60 seconds to recharge. Got it? Rickson, take this sonic screwdriver. Just hold down the button. It'll open doors. Do not lose it. You got that? Now go and open the next door. Go on, go on.
The doctor hands a first aid kit to Cooper.
Mr. Cooper, you're going to need this. I need you fighting for Astrid. Where's the PowerPoints?
Oh, excellent, Kylie Minogue. Under the comms.
See, when it's ready, that blue light comes on right there.
You're talking as if you're not coming with us.
There's something...
Do I sound like her? Does it feel like you're back at the cinema?
I went back. Way back. It was fantastic.
Oh, there's an extra character. Producer Poppy, you're back in.
Come and do it here. Come and do it here. Then you can do mine up and down. Because I can't work it at all. You're there, Mr. Fair.
It's the engine, sir. Final phase. There's nothing more I can do. We've got only 8 minutes left.
Don't worry. I'll get there.
And scene. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Oh, terrified. I'm going to say it here. I'm going to say it live. You were better than Kylie.
You heard it here first.
I'm sorry. Sorry, Kylie, if you're listening to this podcast. But truth must out.
She does. Both of the Minogues listen to the Final Frontier. Clive, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I can't wait to come and see you in the Addams Family.
I'm sure, and I hope you will love it.